I've got 30 minutes on this video. And I'm trying to limit it to 40 because I wind up getting these messages that tell me that it may not work because it's too big. Oh, I forgot this shadow over here. This needs to match the rest of it. And I'm treating this area as relatively unimportant, but go pull a little of that color out here because of the color. Make it gray instead of pinkish. Okay, so let's go back to, remember this is our blue-gray mixture. And I've dried this. And I think I'll go to a smaller brush. Darn. Fast, 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 Ann. Okay. Here we go. Just a little easier to control. It's not that you can't do a lot with a big brush. There's a drip running down. So I don't want that drip. That's going to really interfere with things. There's no telling how many times in my life I've been ruined by a drip. Okay. So let's go up under here. My little triangle of blue that I had made, I washed it out a little too much. Okay. And I am keeping this kind of soft. We could have made this a real sunny day. It kind of is, but I don't know. Actually, it looks a little overcast to me. It may simply be because it's an old photo, and it kind of has that look. See, I keep stirring this up as I work, trying to get the color to stay the same, because the mixtures are separating. And I don't go and put a whole bunch of places in before I soften them. And if you hear a noise there, it's not the sound of my brush dragging, it's my finger dragging along here. I think I'm going to take a little blot right through the middle of that. See, that just weakens it, breaks it up some, and takes that linearity out of it some. It just makes for something better. That's all I can say about it. It just makes it better. Okay. That we can't work with. All right, let's do a little bit on her face, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish on the next video, which I'll put out sometime this week because I have extra time anyway. So I'm taking my, that mixture, the turquoisey blue mixture that's got the cerulean in it and some Nicolazo. Yeah, I'm taking that stuff. I guess I'll thin it out a little bit. See, her face right now, I'm really bothered with what's going on with her face because it looks almost like she has no chin. The darkest areas are, well, on the features, but I mean, this area here, there's color changes, but there's not much value change. And we really need some value change there. Otherwise, she doesn't have a chin. And she does have a chin. We just want to make sure it shows up. So, I'm being pretty cautious with this. I want to change that shape. I'm going to pull it down this way. And I know this is hard for my portrait people to look at because you really need to see what you're working on right side up, despite what they tell you about drawing it upside down. I simply don't have the kind of setup that, and I don't have the kind of business where it pays for me to do a setup that would have an overhead camera. In fact, what I'm using is an iPad, so pretty basic here. There is an area here that should be a little darker coming up on the chin, but I don't think I want to do it with the blue. Again, I don't want to age her neck too much. But a little bit's okay. You just don't want to overdo it. And there's a tendency to make some of these areas stand out too much. It's just one of those things that tends to happen. So this whole area needs more red in it and more blue. Since I'm working with the blue, I'll put the blue in first. But I'm going to have to come back and add some reds to it when it's dry. And you know me, I like to layer it because it looks, it's just much more vibrant that way than if I, here I'm just teasing that color, telling it to, coaxing it. Coaxing it's the word. Yeah, coaxing it. So, you know how I am about this. I like to layer because the color is just better. We also need some blue along this side. And I'm going to use the same mixture. And part of the reason I'm using this turquoisey blue mixture is simply because it's throughout the picture. It's reflected here. So it would be reflected up here too. And I'm keeping it thin. This is not someone who eats a lot. It's very thin. Probably has much better self-discipline than I do. Okay. I think I'll leave that shape just like that. It's got a hard edge right there and there. I'm okay with that. In fact, I kind of like it. There's one place that's a little too dark. And I may not can fix it right now. It's right there inside the ear. I'll have to leave that like that for the moment because it's wet. You know, that's one of the things about watercolor that's really hard, is leaving some of these areas alone because they're wet and you know you have to come back and do more to it later. And that's just almost painful, isn't it? going to suck most of that up. I just wanted to add a little bit of color on that side. Again, this is going to get more red on it. Okay. You know, maybe we could put a little more warmth on that lower lip. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of coral-ish something that I've got here on a plate. I ordered some paint, which I got, and I promptly put it in a safe place for some crazy reason. I may have to order more before, I may not be able to find it till who knows when. I hope I haven't done something odd, like dropped it in the trash or something. Okay, I think that's better. She needed that emphasis on the edge of her lip to separate it from this shadow underneath. Also, I need to add some shape right there. Let's try it with this. Keep it very light, but there is a shape coming under here and coming down this way. I forgot that that was wet, or I wouldn't have done that right now. And I'm keeping it very pale. Just pull it out there. Okay, that's better. We could move a little color onto there, just barely. Oh, man. You know, so I'm trying to make a portrait out of this one, and it's a little touchy. So watch these nostrils that you don't get them too dark. Your photo, the darks in this photo are definitely feel exaggerated. Her nostrils should not look that dark inside. That's this photo. But the other thing is that even if they were, you don't want to make them that way in your painting. That is just, that's just too exaggerated. Be careful that you don't enlarge the nostrils. That's another thing that's real easy to do, is either start getting them too large or be chicken about putting them in and getting them too small. I've done that. And if you get them way too small, your person starts looking like a puppy. Yes. If you get the irises of the eye too large and the nostrils too small, they look like a puppy. I did that to my grandson once. There you go. Okay, that's all for today.